Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is a Cuisine Royale tips and tricks video, and this one is specifically about special abilities, the character's special abilities, how to use them, and the advantages and disadvantages of them. And you'll see two of them being used here, because I'm using Bullet Time, and this guy is using the Thunderstrike ability. I'm going to talk through each of these abilities in turn, and you'll see in the customization options menu, you have the four characters once you've unlocked them all. And the basic ones you start with off on the left, and you'll see that they have different abilities. The first character, he has the Berserker ability, which basically allows him to transform into a beast, and you can then melee people, and you'll see that in action. Annie's Bullet Time ability is my favourite, and I'll show you that later on in the video. And Ocelot has a Spirit Walk, which makes you go invisible, and then the last guy has the Thunderstrike ability. I'm going to talk through each of these. They each have their advantages and disadvantages, and depending on how you play, you might find your favourite. First of all, I'm going to talk about the Berserker/Beast mode. Now, before I get started with that, it's worth knowing a little bit about them in case you don't know before. In order to use these special abilities, you first have to earn enough souls. And to get souls, you have a number of different options to acquire them. Firstly, the easiest way is to get kills. Another way you can do it is through the workshop and the customization menus. You can purchase different styles of underwear, and there's one sort of underwear that gives you souls as you eat food and do other things. You'll see here though that I've acquired 218 souls, that's the little fire symbol in the bottom right, and then my special ability, the beast ability, is lit up fully white, which means I have enough souls to be able to use it. As I said, you can use the underwear. There are different styles of underwear. Some give you souls for just being in the game, other ones give you souls for other things. You also get notes like in the game here, destroy the gravestone. So some enemies have a gravestone that you can acquire in the workshop, and you destroy that and you get the souls that they've acquired. So if they've killed people along the way, or if they've got some from using underwear, then you can get those souls that way by just destroying their gravestone, which is a really easy way of doing it. And it's a nice, quick and easy way to earn souls. Another way to do it, if you're early on in the game and you're in Mexico, you can destroy these gargoyle/ statues, and when you've destroyed those statues you get 10 souls for each of them. Now they do make a lot of noise, but you'll see like the hammer has a one-hit destroy on them, and so does the Uber Pan, so it's worth doing that and getting those few souls. And there's quite a few of them scattered around the sort of Aztec temples, so once you do that you can earn a good bit of souls, and then you can use your special abilities. So here the special ability is basically makes you run fast, slightly impervious to bullets, and gives you the ability to melee and kill. You do have to be careful how you use it though, because if you do it like I just did, you expose yourself to fire when you first start using it. You also make a loud noise while you're using it, so you're kind of giving away your position, but you can use it in different ways. So here for example, I'm using it to escape being shot at. So this guy's shooting at me from a distance. Instead of using it to try and attack him, I've used it to close the gap between us and make it a bit more difficult for him, because he's now worried that I'm near him and I might use the beast ability on him, whereas actually I've just closed the gap so he can't shoot me long range, and I've only got short range weapons, and it's not terribly easy to get fire down on him. So that's another way to do it. Make sure you're behind cover before you start using it, and take advantage of the speed and jumping over cover as well, between things, to get close to the enemy to then be able to melee them. You can counter this ability if you're on the other side with the Bullet Time, which I've shown previously, but it is quite a mean one to fight off unless they use it and expose themselves to danger like I have numerous times in this video. It's not my favourite, but it is quite useful. It does make a hell of a lot of noise though, there's nothing subtle about it. The next ability that I'm going to cover is Ocelot's Spirit Walk maneuver. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. I've had a lot of fun with it. It can be interesting, it can be quite hilarious, and it's definitely worth playing around with. Basically what this does is it puts you into a temporary invisible state so you can move across the battlefield without being seen. However, when you go into it and when you come out of it, there are certain noises that you make that make it quite obvious where you are, so you can't use it to just spawn behind an enemy and kill them. You have to sort of go close to them, but not close enough that they'll know where you are immediately. So it's quite a tricky one to use. And again, you need to earn the souls before you can use it. It's also worth noting when you're switching between characters, you need to make sure you've got all your favourite things equipped, because they're different for each character, which is a bit of a faff. So I'm going to show you a few examples of how I've used it to an advantage. Unfortunately, I haven't got a clip of my favourite one, which is where I managed to ninja into a building without someone noticing and then drop down behind them. It was pretty hilarious, but you can use it in other ways. So here I'm using it to close the gap on someone. I've killed someone in this town, but I have a feeling there's other ones there. So rather than running across the open field fully exposed, I used the Spirit Walk maneuver to get as close as I possibly could, and therefore in better cover. And that actually is a really good way to use this ability, is to get out of danger as well as into it. So obviously you can use it to close on enemies and perhaps take advantage of the disorientation because they think you're one way. You use the Spirit Walk ability to go a completely different way and flank them. Here I went and killed this guy, and then I found he had an M4 and I was excited about that, but then I heard someone else coming, so I thought, oh, I better hide. So use the Spirit Walk ability to temporarily go invisible. Now, he might have heard me use the ability, but he don't necessarily know where I am, and I'm using the lure of the loot and hoping that he goes for it. And I actually managed to get a rather lucky grenade well placed, because he's on the other side of the wall opposite to me, basically. But that's given me a temporary advantage in that I'm hidden from him. If I'd just tried to run out of there and get to cover, he might have shot me in my back while I was running away, and I managed to eliminate him. So that gave me the edge, which is nice, and it is very useful for getting out of situations. However, as I said, when you see you using it, you make a sort of noise when you enter the Spirit Walk, and also you have a slight disadvantage because here, when you're spawning back in, you also make that sound and some sort of weird ghost-like figure that people can see when you're coming back in, and that kind of gives you away where you are. You also have a disadvantage because you don't immediately have your weapon out. Now, the Thunderstrike ability is one of my favourites, and you can equip this. I believe that you can pay money to buy this one in the store, and just get straight to it if you don't want to work for it for the workshop. And this is another interesting one. Once again, don't forget to switch your character abilities. But this one basically allows you to shoot up into the sky and then smash down with like a Thor hammer style of smashing to the ground. And this again is useful and also has some negative sides to it. So it makes a lot of noise when you're doing it. It's not terribly subtle, and it is quite visible, as you can see when you're using it. If you see other people use it, you'll also hear them quite a lot, but it's great. This has several advantages. You can use it to cover distance, so I've used it quite successfully to move across long distances or pretty big distances, especially if you're sort of close to the edge of the blue and you're near the danger zone. You can use it to get away from the danger quite quickly. You can also use it nicely to get away from enemy fire near you or to move behind them. So here there's actually two people in close proximity to me. I've used it to get up on the hill behind one of them, so they're now shooting it out with each other and slightly don't know where I am because they're concentrating on each other now, and then I can get the advantage and kill off the last one that's left alive. So here I am again in a place that's pretty deserted. The airfield is across there. You can use the ability to then zap across there. Now normally I'd have to run across that bridge, up the road. You're exposed to cover from this bunker where there's machine guns. It could shoot at me, and it's not ideal because you don't have any way of defending yourself. But it is great for zipping in and out of danger quite quickly and effectively. Another thing I've done is I've used it to get away from gunfire. So if you've had a few firefights, if you're in the middle of a trench, for example, like I am here, I've just killed someone, I'm killing another person, I've made a lot of noise from this vicinity, so I use the Thunderstrike ability to get the hell out of there and move somewhere completely new. Now obviously I'm going to make a lot of noise when I land, but perhaps someone's not looking for that as much as they are the sound of gunfire, so hopefully I've managed to get away. I also put some grenade traps on the bodies back there, just in case anybody decided to go and loot them. And then I found that somebody got killed by that grenade trap, so I use the Thunderstrike ability to go back, because I know there's going to be loot there for me. And you can see another grenade kill there as well. So I actually go back to the trench that I was previously, where I used the Thunderstrike ability to get away, and then I go back and find the bodies that were there, and you can see there's loads more loot now. Destroy the gravestones for the souls, deploy another grenade trap, and then get out of there again. And this is a sneaky, horrible trick that I taught in a previous video, using that grenade trap to your advantage. People just don't expect grenade traps on other people's bodies, and it gets you some nice easy kills, some souls, and some extra loot if you revisit the location. And using the Thunderstrike ability, when you've got a lot of kills or a few kills, you can easily zip in and out of danger and move from place to place. Obviously, the closer you get to the end of the game, the more dangerous it is. Again, like the Beast ability, it takes a couple of seconds to activate, so you're kind of exposed to danger there. You're making a lot of noise, you're giving away where you are, so there is a risk that you're going to get killed, so it's worth using it behind cover. I also got killed once when I used it near the end of the game because the circle was shrinking so much that when I was doing that animation to go into the Thunderstrike, I just got killed by the blue because it was just zapping my energy away so much. So you do need to be careful how you use it and when you start to activate it. However, I am nearly the end of the game here. You can see how small the circle is on the minimap, and there's an enemy slightly ahead who's kind of got me pinned down, stuck behind this tree. So I decided to use the Thunderstrike ability to get out of the way. There's only 2 guys left alive. I know there's another one probably in this town because I heard some shooting earlier on. So I just use it to zap away from him, potentially into more danger, but hopefully the other guy isn't expecting me as much. And you'll note this ability is meant to have sort of knock people off their feet, but it's not very effective like that. What it does do is it does smash down the surroundings in quite a satisfying way. You'll see doors and windows explode, and that it's kind of a shock and awe tactic. It's quite surprising, and people don't necessarily expect it, and it is quite loud when it's coming in. So if you're working as a squad, it can be quite effective as a distraction technique, and use that to sort of keep the enemy on their toes. They don't know what's coming, and things go wrong and they lose and you win, and it's great. Now the final one is my favourite ability, and the one that doesn't really give you away very much. Bullet time essentially slows down time for you, and it makes enemies turn red, so it sort of highlights them in the environment and gives you that edge to be able to shoot quickly. It's great for using powerful weapons like the PZB, but it also works for semi-autos, full machine guns, and other fast firing weapons. Basically slows it down for you. What it does do is it speeds it up for them, so it's easier for them to kill you if they've got the drop on you. That's the disadvantage of it, but otherwise it's definitely my favourite because it makes no noise. People don't know you've activated it, it's just happening. So it's probably the most deadly and the best to use in my opinion. However, it is fun to play around with a mix of them. Hope you found this video useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting, or hilarious. Be sure to subscribe and check out these other videos, as well as taking a look in the description for links and other information you might find useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything you'd like to see extra about this, and have a great life.